You can see inside the thermometer there's water and there's air. The air is gas and the water is liquid. We put the color in it so you can see it better as it goes up the pipe. So the air in there, if that changes sizes, if it gets bigger or smaller, there's no way for it to get away. It's stuck in there. So it pushes on the water, pushes this water down. The only way the water can get away is up the tube. So when you take some hot water and drip it on the side of the thermometer, the first thing that happens is the energy from that hot water goes through the walls of the bottle and starts heating up that air that's inside there. It heats up the water too, but the water takes a long time to heat up. The air heats up really quickly, and when the air gets warm, it gets bigger. The little molecules of air start banging around harder and faster, and it makes the air get bigger. When the air gets bigger, pushes on the water, and the water moves up the tube. Then, when you put some cold water and drip it on the outside, now that's taking the energy from the bottle. The cold water is taking the energy away from the bottle. Energy is the heat. And so the air inside there starts getting smaller and smaller. So the water can raise up in the bottle and it comes down in the tube. So everything that happens up here is because this air on the top of the bottle here is getting bigger or smaller as it gets hotter or colder. And that's conduction. Conduction through the side of the bottle. Conduction also when you use your hands. If you make your hands warm and touch the bottle, you're conducting your heat into the air of the bottle. That's pushing the water up the tube. Now when you go outside, the sun is hitting it. And the sun's energy makes the air warmer. That's called radiation. That energy came from the sun 150 million miles away, I think. And it hits the bottle and it warms it up. That's called radiation. Then if you put a piece of something in front of it, well, if it's silver like this, it's going to reflect the sun's radiation away. And so the temperature of the bottle should go down, according to the theory. If you put a white one there, it's also reflective. White color reflects the energy, the radiation energy away from the bottle. So it should go down from wherever it was. But if you put the black one on there and tie it up carefully with the rubber bands, now it's going to absorb the radiation from the sun. Black color takes the energy and keeps it and makes the whole paper hot. And then that hot paper is going to make the bottle hotter. And so it could make it even hotter than it was when the sun hits it directly. Now, if you wanted to keep the bottle exactly the same temperature, you could do several things. You could make it isolated from the environment. You could pack things around it so that no matter what the temperature change out here was, it wouldn't change the inside of the bottle. That's called insulation. You could also take away the air. You could put something around it and then pump the air out so there was no air there. Then there would be no way to conduct the energy into the bottle. The only way you could do it would be with radiation. That's inside a little thermos. Some fancy water bottles have a little layer where they pump the air out. That will keep the bottle warm or cold, or keep it at the same temperature, because there's no conduction. If you want to make it change fast, if you want to make the temperature change as fast as possible in the bottle, well, you want a lot of heat. So you could put it on a fire, or you could dump the hot water on top of it, or you could dip the whole thing in a bucket of hot water or cold water. And then the conduction would be very fast. The air in there would immediately get a lot of energy or lose a lot of energy, and it would become smaller or bigger. All of this about temperature change is about energy change. When you make the air warmer, you've given it energy. When you make it colder, you've taken energy away from it. Energy is very specific here. It's the kinetic energy of the molecules of gas. So we can use the model again of our molecules of the material. Remember, this is a model of molecules, and the ping pong balls represent the molecules. But right now they're all sitting there, they're touching each other. That represents a solid. Then if you give it a little bit of energy, they start moving around a little bit. But they're still touching each other, but they're not flying. They're just moving around, flowing past each other. That's like a liquid. That's a model of a liquid. But then if you give it even more energy, then they start taking off, bouncing around, flying around the container. If you don't have a lid on it, they'll fly right out, and that's a gas. So we got a solid with the least energy, a liquid, a little more energy, and a gas that's got the most energy. And a gas can have a little bit of energy or a lot of energy. So if you have a gas and the gas is taking up this much space, and you give it some more energy, it's going to push on that space. If it's possible, it's going to make the space even bigger. And so that's what happened in the thermometer, is when the air in there, which is a gas, gets more energy, the molecules are banging around even harder, even faster, and they push on the outside. Well, they push on the bottle and nothing happens. But they push on the water, and the water can go down because some of it is going up through the tube and making the thermometer rise. You give it more energy, they push harder, and it rises more. But then if you take away the energy, then they'll move slower and slower and take up less and less space, so the water will rise again, and this part in the tube will go back down. That's called the theory of molecules, and how the energy changes the movement of the molecules. Now here's the vocabulary. When the sun's energy hits the side, it's called radiation. Radiation, little particles of energy, you could say photons, are coming down and hitting it and making it hotter. That's radiation. Conduction, that's when something touches it, your hand or the water, and the energy goes from touching, from where the energy is, right into the bottle. That's conduction. Temperature is what you're measuring. That's how hot or cold something is. And it means how fast the molecules are moving. Reflection, that's what the white paper does, or the aluminum foil does. The radiation comes and then it gets bounced away. That's the reflecting of the energy radiation. Absorption, that's when the radiation comes and it sticks and it stays and it makes it warmer. If you don't have anything, it's absorbing some energy. Or if you have the black one, then it's absorbing more energy.